Hey there, it's TigerShark here again with Okano. This episode is a little different. I woke up this morning, or at least the morning that I'm writing this. I don't know when this one will release. Anyway, I woke up with a dumb idea in my head for an indie game. I'm not a developer, I have vaguely dabbled before, but I've never made anything really. But I thought, hey, maybe I'll just make a video talking about the dumb ideas I've had for games. So I wrote down a few and I'll talk about them here, and if anyone wants to make them, then go for it. Or maybe I'll try someday, we'll see. Anyway, so the thought that I had this morning was inspired by the most recent episode of Bob's Burgers, where Gene gives chocolate to a puppy and the family chases it around so they can make it throw up. Idea number one was rolling with that concept. You would play as a vet or something, and you have to round up dogs that have eaten chocolate and force feed them hydrogen peroxide so they throw it up. Now that I'm writing it down, I'm not super sure how to make this into an engaging game. I guess there would have to be two parts. The first part would be catching the dogs, and the second would be getting them to drink the hydrogen peroxide. I can imagine it as a top-down game or a first-person game. Maybe you have a description of the dog and you have to ask people if they've seen it, and then you have to find the right dog. Obviously, there would have to be a time limit. I don't know, this idea is sounding worse the more I talk about it. Let's move on to the next one. Idea number two is one I think could actually be good if it was made by someone creative. So the idea comes from the weird video game thing that there are always torches and candles and stuff in caves and dungeons for some reason. You would play as a skeleton or a ghost or something that has to go through the dungeons and caves. You light all the torches and put fresh fruit in the chests for the adventurers to find. Then after the adventurers go through, you have to go back and reset all the traps and stuff. Maybe afterwards you get a rating based on how fresh the torches are kept and whether or not you forgot to reset certain traps. For some reason I picture it as a skeleton minion who gets paid to do this, but his ultimate goal is to open his own dungeon to be a dungeon master instead of just the little minion that he is. So as you get ratings, you get paid and you can save up for your dungeon. Maybe 1,000,000 gold and you can get your own and win the game. And maybe you can buy items that makes your job easier, like better torches that last longer, or cold chests that keep the fruit refrigerated. I don't know, I'm just spewing ideas here. I really want this game to exist, so if anyone wants to make it, I'll take all the profits and give you a single mention at the end of the credits. Just kidding, these ideas are all freebies if anyone wants to make some dumb games, as long as I get some credit for the original idea. Obviously I would cover them in my Sorting Treasure from Trash series and harshly critique them. Anyway, for idea 3, all I wrote down was reverse Tetris. I was hoping I'd have ideas of how that would work on the spot as I typed this, so I'm just going to write whatever comes to mind and hope it makes sense. Let's see. One idea is you play the person dropping the blocks and you have to decide which blocks to drop in which order. Your goal would be to mess the player up by dropping the most inconvenient pieces at the right times. I could see that being a kind of PvP game actually. Maybe it wouldn't work really well, but that was my first off-the-cuff thought. Another idea would be the screen starts full of blocks and you have to make them go away somehow. I really thought this one would be easier. I left this open space right here, so if I came up with any other ideas while I was recording the voiceover, I could ad-lib them. I do not have any other ideas, so I'm going to move on to idea 4. For this one I wrote down Sock Thief. I wrote a whole bunch of paragraphs here before I had an idea I actually love, so I erased all the others, and this is the one. This is an explanation for why we always lose socks. A goblin is a matchmaker for a sock puppet dating service, so he sneaks into people's houses and steals socks that would make perfect matches for his clients. It doesn't have to be a goblin, but that's what I'm picturing. It would be half a stealth game to find the socks and half a business sim to make the matches. But maybe the goblin is all alone and wishes he could find love too, or something. I don't know where to go from there. I don't know, this is one of those insane ideas that could work really well or just be absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to put this one on my list of short story animations that I want to make because I love the silly concept. Anyway, I wanted to do a list of 5 and that's only 4, so I'm going to make up another idea on the spot. Idea 5 is you play as an idea trying to get the attention of the person whose head you live in. But they're really easily distracted and you have to start making a mess of their brain to get them to pay attention. I'm picturing like a Binding of Isaac style roguelike with unique brain-related items and enemies. You have to fight your way through all the distractions and make your way to the frontal lobe. Or maybe you play as a brain cop who's escorting an idea, but the gameplay would be the same because we all know escort quests are the worst. No, this idea isn't based on my easily distractible brain, why do you ask? Anyway, this has been my list of 5 dumb indie game ideas I had. If anyone wants to use these ideas to make a game, all I ask for is the credit for coming up with the idea. I know these are stupid ideas, but maybe I'll actually delve into game design again because I really like 3 out of the 5. Or not because I'm lazy. Anyway, that's all for this one, and as always I hope you have a spectacular day.